Hello, folks, and welcome back to Deus Ex. Well, welcome back. Well, yes, welcome back to Deus Ex. But this time, it is mankind divided. Though, one little tidbit I want to share. There's a character in Human Revolution we saw that I didn't recognize for a character from Deus Ex 1. Remember the guy in charge of X-51? Him. He was in the Missing Link DLC. You know, where we find out about the ladies that were the final boss of the original game. Like they were part of the AI core. You find the facility making them. The guy in charge of that project was the guy in charge of X-51. Pre-X-51 days. When he was a lot more of a bastard. Also, I literally just set the audio settings here. I have not adjusted. Like, I put them to 70. I haven't done any further testing. Whether or not these are any good or not is something we'll be finding out on the fly. Reasoning being for this is that I'm feeling lazy right now. So, on we go! Oh. Let's check. Graphics are fine. I've heard some rather sketchy things about mankind divided here. Well, like but like the AI is meant to be questionable. It stops abruptly, clearly set up for a sequel, and now the series is on hiatus. Apparently, there's a ton of microtransactions to the game. Like Square kind of fucked the pooch. What's the phrase? They fucked it up. Forcing things in here and there like that. I've also heard a lot of good things about. I've heard good things about it. I know Razorfist, as much as we don't see eye to eye on the Witcher games. He apparently loved this. He apparently loved it. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what I think of it personally. It's one thing to hear what others say, but another thing to play it yourself. Like, I had fun with Invisible War. I know some people will aim for my head for that, but I actually had fun with Invisible War. In some ways, I had more fun with Invisible War than the original Deus Ex. That was probably because original Deus Ex's thing, I know, you had more character building to it to a certain degree. Well, the system was different, and I think a bit more. There might have been a bit more depth to it or fiddliness to it, and I might have done it poorly. While Invisible War was simpler, and I was able to get more fun out of it that way. Not necessarily saying it was better. I just had more fun out of one than the other. I think if I was to play Deus Ex 1 again, I might do it better this time. Like I was saying on Twitter actually yesterday, I am actually thinking of doing a modded playthrough of the base Deus Ex, of the original Deus Ex. So anyway, still seems a little loud. There's apparently a companion app. You now go to their Facebook, their YouTube and Twitter for it. Like there's apparently unlocks associated. I'm not sure on the details of that. Wait, Christ, you can just outright buy money? Outright buy Praxis kits? breach here. We'll hold off on that. From what I've heard of, okay, for a moment there, he just looked like the guy from the intro of from Final Fantasy 14, you know, Warrior Darkness guy. Well, that's a crossover and a half. But from what I know of it, it kind of is inspired a little by like Invisible War. Invisible War borrowed from the different endings of Deus Ex 1. This does a similar thing of borrowing from the different endings of Mankind Divided. Sorry, of Human Revolution. Where, at the end of Human Revolution, for like last time on, Jensen has a choice of 4 buttons to press. It's a very awkward ending, but you can press one of 4 buttons and a different thing will happen and you'll get different narration from Jensen. One button you can press is the truth. You tell everyone, give everyone the cards to play. Meanwhile, you lay all the cards out on the table, you say exactly what happened. One is you give a message from Seraph, which, you know, would hurt the Illuminati and the like, and then there's the pro-Illuminati message, which would harm human augmentation and the like. And obviously the Seraph one is pro-augmentation. The final one is just to say fuck it all and nuke the whole facility. So you sink it into the ocean. You don't literally nuke it. You like turn off some support system, causing the whole facility to sink. Apparently, Mankind Divided borrows from all of these endings. The one thing I would levy against Human Revolution and thereby Mankind Divided is that if you go from playing them to playing Deus Ex 1, which is actually what I did initially, I played Mankind Divided, Human Revolution a few times, and then I tried Deus Ex 1, and it's a very jarring experience. Not like ignoring like gameplay developments in the meantime, and even regressions in some cases and the like. Even on an in-universe basis, on an in-universe power scheme, it is a very jarring difference. For example, Jensen has knockout gas. Best Denton can get is tear gas. Jensen has stun gun. Jensen has peps. Denton gets baton. The one advantage I suppose Denton has over Jensen is Jensen's melee attacks are on an energy basis. Denton's can be swung as much as he wants. Issue is, Jensen's melee attacks are a guaranteed knockout or kill. Denton's rarely are unless you actually build them correctly. And even then there's some enemies whose weak points is like the triangle above their ass. You know, it's a little fiddly on some. Though I suppose they were in power armor and the like. But, so yeah, basically it just feels like you go from Human Revolution, there's a certain power level, you go to the future and you expect equal or better or, you know, equivalence of some degree, and you just feel so much weaker. It's so annoying. It also doesn't help that, you know, the Dentons, Paul and JC are smugging at the mechanical augmentated people, and Jensen could easily just beat the shit out of the two of them. Like, with absurdities. He turns invisible to machines and people, and then he takes down both of them in the one move. You know. There's an odd power imbalance. Like, it's... Someone was describing Human Revolution is meant to be a soft reboot, but there is a clear lead into, you know, the Deus Ex 1 and, you know, their Invisible War. And the power that you have in Human Revolution and presumably Mankind Divided doesn't match up with what's in Deus Ex 1. Even like look at the mechanical augmented people in Deus Ex 1, they do not nearly have the ability of Jensen or the like. And thankfully for that, imagine fighting a Herman that can go invisible, or with arm blades, or was mildly competent. You know, you'll be fucked. But yeah, it's really jarring. It's a really jarring thing. In some ways, part of me feels like either you consider them separate things, or Deus Ex 1 gets rejigged to have that higher power level. Probably best to consider them separate things. Probably don't want people, especially with them shoving microtransactions up the wazoo, touching, like, in any capacity, the old games. So, enough gabbing. Let's get on with it. Oh, that game, that line got way too much mileage. You only live once. Oh, that's cruel. That is cruel. I am never playing that. Give me a story. Give me a challenge. Give me Deus Ex. I never asked for this. Where is mine? Where's the difficulty? I don't have enemies. Merely topographies of ignorance. That's such a fantastic line. It's deliciously arrogant. It's beautiful. Give me a challenge, you enjoy a good story and a good challenge. This is how the game is meant to be played. Give me Deus Ex. Hardened enemies and tougher situations will make your experience quite challenging. If you're a good adrenaline rush, you are one with the machine. Hopefully one day in the future I wouldn't mind saying that literally. As in full cybernetics, baby. I am quite pro-transhumanism. Full body prosthesis, mind uploaded, body in a fridge. I'm good. Alright. I might just stick with normal mode. A 12-minute video. Sweet Jiminy Cricket. As if this hasn't gone on long enough. Oh, I apologize. I'll give you an extra long video as an intro to this. It's tempting to put it on because it's just like, okay, let's see what they say, you know? It might be fun for ye, but 12 minutes. You know what, fuck it. They gave it to me, why not?
The year was 2027. Advances in biotechnology were helping people improve their physical and mental abilities to an amazing degree. Provided, of course, they had enough money. A new breed of people was emerging. Half human, half machine. And in Detroit, at least, not everyone was happy to see it. I'd just landed a job as head of security at Sarif Industries, a cutting-edge biotech firm. David Sarif himself handpicked me for the job. Said he needed me to keep his people safe. My ex, Megan Reed, was one of them. Brilliant neuroscientist, Megan had found a way to make augmentation safe and affordable for everyone. All she had to do was present her research to Congress. But the night before her big meeting, my security measures failed. A team of Black Op mercenaries stormed
Not
into
quite
Sarif
accurate.
headquarters, massacring everyone in sight. 3 of the mercs were heavily augmented walking tanks. Their mission? Take out Megan and her team. I tried to stop them, but their leader tossed me through a plate glass wall.
No.
Last thing I heard as his bullets slammed into my brain was Megan's dying scream. I should have died with her. Only I didn't. High-end military-grade enhancements saved my life. The best augmentation Sarif's money could buy. Took me half a year to get a feel for her. Should have taken longer. But 6 months into my recovery, Sarif Industries was attacked again. This time, by a radical group of pro-human purists. Violent, militant, and fanatically opposed to human augmentation. They claimed to be members of Humanity Front, a non-profit organization that wanted the UN to limit biotechnology research. The thugs broke into Sarif's factory and found machinists working overtime on a top-secret military augment called the Typhoon. Sarif sent me to retrieve it, and when I did, I found one of the so-called purists next to it, wired with cerebral implants, trying to download its classified specs. Obviously, something more was going on. The AUG killed himself before I could question him. Sarif ordered me to dig deeper, so with the help of Frank Pritchard, Sarif's head of cybersecurity, I did. Turns out a second hacker had been controlling the AUG's actions from somewhere off-site. Pritchard and I tracked his signal to a secret FEMA internment camp in Detroit. The Black Op mercenaries were there. The same mercs who'd left me for dead 6 months before. Figured they'd try again when they saw me. Wasn't so easy for them this time. I took out the tank named Barrett. Even got him to give me a new lead. A penthouse apartment in China. Of course, we both knew it would be a trap in the end.
Did he stab him in the original one? I don't remember that.
Hengsha Island, China.
Been too long.
Home to a city so crowded, they had to build a second city on top of it. Trying to find clues in Hengsha wouldn't be easy. Lucky for me, I wasn't alone. Farida Malik, Sarif Industries' ace pilot, had lived in Hengsha before. A good person to have on your side. She knew enough about the place to get me around. Malik dropped me in the lower city, close to the penthouse Barrett had told me about. Bell Tower Associates, a private security firm under contract to the Chinese government, had agents tossing the suite when I arrived. Just not for the reason I'd been expecting. Turns out the man who lived there was a criminal hacker named Van Bruggen. The same hacker who'd been remotely controlling the AUG in Sarif's factory. Van Bruggen's panicked decision to force the man to commit suicide had been a mistake. Now his mercenary partners were gunning for him, and I needed to find him before they did. Locating Van Bruggen meant playing nice with the Triads, Hengsha's organized crime lords. They had the hacker holed up inside a low-rent capsule hotel. By the time I found him, Van Bruggen had no qualms giving up the woman who hired him. Zhao Yunru, president of the Taiyang Medical Corporation. According to Van Bruggen, Zhao wanted to monopolize the augmentation industry and had hired Black Op mercenaries to destabilize her competition. Sarif Industries was at the top of her list. To prove this, I needed to get inside Shadowrun and grab a surveillance hologram off a server. I suspected Van Bruggen was hiding something when he told me this, but nothing could have prepared me for what I saw. Megan wasn't dead. She and her 4 best researchers had been kidnapped, spirited away somewhere while their kidnappers made it look like they were dead. Desperate to learn more, I confronted Zhao in her penthouse. She claimed to be a pawn in a bigger plan, and hinted at a group so powerful it controlled global interests at a whim. Then she slipped into a panic room and hit the alarm, forcing me to make a very quick exit. I figured Zhao was lying, but part of her confession made sense. David Sarif had been worried about his people. So worried, he'd required all of them to have subdermal locator devices surgically implanted. The GPOs would have been broadcasting the day of the attack. But Zhao said a single call to Picus, the world's leader in global 24-hour satellite news, had turned those signals off. I needed to fly to Picus headquarters in Montreal if I wanted to learn more. Eliza Kassan, Picus Communications' First Lady of News. Malik thought I was reaching when I told her Eliza was involved in this. The world's most famous news anchor, working with a mercenary hit squad. But when I confronted Kassan in her office, she freely admitted to jamming Detroit's satellites the night Megan's team had been taken. Said she's just been following her commands. I suspected she wanted to say more. But Black Op mercenaries showed up looking to shut us both down. And just like that, the Eliza I'd been talking to disappeared. The mercs were led by an augmented killer I crossed paths with twice before. Fedorova, a woman who'd made silence her best friend. She waited for me to track Eliza's transmission to a secret server room underneath the Picus complex, then jumped me from behind. A deadly fight ensued. I made sure she never moved silently again. With Fedorova down, and no one left to keep Eliza quiet, she reappeared. Turns out Picus's first lady of news wasn't a lady at all. She was a sophisticated AI program.
I can't help but hear Austin Powers right now.
And control what people believed. Eliza told me the mercs had brought in a Humanity Front doctor named Isaiah Sandoval to remove the scientist's implanted tracking devices while Detroit's satellites were down. She also told me to speak to David Sarif if I wanted to learn more. By the time Malik and I got back to Detroit, tensions between normal and augmented citizens had reached a flashpoint. Riots were breaking out in several cities, and the UN was being urged to intervene. Sarif was trying hard to convince Hugh Darrow, the inventor turned philanthropist who'd once been a leading proponent of enhancement technologies, to help stop a possible regulatory vote. Sarif had a lot riding on Darrow. Megan's discovery would have given millions of people the chance to evolve beyond their normal human abilities, and at the same time catapulted Sarif Industries to the top of the Fortune 500. According to Sarif, Megan's kidnappers knew this, and didn't want people evolving unless they controlled how it was done. He called his enemies Illuminati, and urged me to keep searching.
More like Illuminati.
Determined to do so, I tracked down Sandoval via America's most outspoken augmentation opponent, Bill Taggart, Sandoval's boss.
I played nice.
Humanity Front.
I don't think I did that.
Sandoval admitted to operating on Megan's team when I confronted him, but said he hadn't removed their GPLs. He'd merely switched them to a different frequency. Pritchard was able to trace one of the signals to China. Malik and I immediately took off in pursuit. Unfortunately, the Illuminati were one step ahead. Ambushed. Shot out of the sky by Bell Tower Associates, seconds after entering Hengsha's airspace. Malik's piloting skills saved me. After a tense and bitter struggle, I escaped into Lower Hengsha. The tracking signal I was following led straight to the Triads, or more specifically, to the augmented arm of Tong Si-hung, leader of a gang of augmentation harvesters. Tong said they'd taken the arm off a corpse, which Bell Tower had left at their door, meaning at least one of Sarif's scientists was dead. Maybe not the rest of them, though. Tong pointed me to a port used for human trafficking and helped me slip aboard a Bell Tower ship. It was sailing to Rifleman Bank Station, a military base in the South China Sea. Bell Tower was holding kidnapped civilians as prisoners there,
That's out the other
and
DLC.
using them to perfect the Hyron project, a human-computer interface that left most of its test subjects dead. My search for Megan would have ended then, if not for a mysterious ally named Quinn. In exchange for my help exposing Bell Tower, he slipped me aboard a second ship headed to Singapore, and an Illuminati-run biotech facility called Omega Ranch. 3 of Sarif's scientists were there, forced by their captors to create a technology capable of remotely shutting down augmented abilities. Thanks to an emergency recall notice issued by the World Health Organization, millions of people all over the world already had the biochip installed. With the help of the scientists, I tracked Megan to a private section of the ranch. There, I ran into Yaron Namir, the walking tank who'd put a bullet in my brain the first time we met. He'd teamed up with Zhao and was hoping to catch me off guard. Their little ambush didn't work. I found Megan in a suite belonging to Hugh Darrow, the billionaire philanthropist who'd Sarif had called on for help. Darrow had convinced her to go along with the biochip plan by promising to sabotage the tech. As she was explaining this, Darrow appeared in a global broadcast, telling the world that augmentations would be the death of mankind. Then he activated the biochips to prove his point. All over the world, augmented people flew into a killing frenzy. Darrow had betrayed everyone, and it was up to me to set things right. To do it, I had to reach Panchaea, a massive installation in the Arctic Ocean. As I raced through corridors built by an all-augmented workforce, I saw death and destruction firsthand. By the time I shut down Darrow's broadcast, I knew the damage he'd done. Still, humanity's future remained unclear. How would the world react to this sabotage? Would people
Dead
ever
Space
regain
time.
their faith in augmentations again? What would be the Illuminati's next move? Only time could give us the answers.
I guess the reason why they left out the other DLC was because it was rather minor, and the other guy ties in with Deus Ex 2. Well, you know, this, with the Juggernaut Collective and the like.
I once thought I could save the world. Now look at it.
In yet another augmented terror attack, 251 passengers aboard Sister Airlines Flight 451 were killed when an augmented passenger broke into the plane's cockpit and ruthlessly butchered its flight crew. Details recovered from the black box recorder suggest that the man may have been suffering flashbacks to the AUG incident. That horrible day 2 years ago when augmented people all over the world flew into a psychotic killing spree, causing the greatest loss of life in recent history.
Sometimes, you just have to let go. And embrace what you've become.
Not gonna go all wonky on us now, Hansa, are ya?
Well, if I do, McCready, I guarantee you'll never see it coming.
Agent Jensen! Am I gonna have a problem with you?
No, sir. No reason to assume you would.
Good, because you are the only augmented operative on this team, and I intend to make good use of you.
Listen up, all of you.
We got a sandstorm barreling down our arse and we can't afford to make mistakes. We're going after this man, an arms dealer named Shepard. He's ex-Bell Tower, one of the Special Forces commanders who disappeared during the incident.
And he's come out of hiding. That cannot be good.
It's not. He's selling weapons and military-grade augments to terrorists. This is Aran Singh, the undercover agent who lured Shepard out of his hole. Best you see Interpol's got. For 3 years he's worked hard to get in tight with the Jinn, an Iraqi smuggling cartel that's infected the Eastern Hemisphere like a plague. Last week, our arms dealer sent a message to the Jinn, offering to sell them a shitload of black market merchandise dirt cheap. They told Singh to handle the buy.
They're not gonna like it when Interpol disrupts their party. Singh's cover really that good?
It is right now. We need to keep it that way. This is where the deal's going down. A half-finished high-rise hotel that's been abandoned ever since the incident. It's not a pretty picture inside.
Let me guess. Most of the laborers were augmented with heavy-duty industrial rigs. So when the incident hit, and they all went schizo, things got gruesome real fast.
And no one, except for some homeless junkies, have been inside the place ever since.
So what's the plan, Director?
Singh's meeting Shepard on the ground floor, inside the hotel's main atrium. He sent the bulk of his Jinn crew to the penthouse levels to secure a vantage point. I want McCready's team to take up positions overlooking the atrium and make the arrest. Jensen, you're going in solo from the roof.
My objectives?
Keep the Jinn from joining the party. As far as we can tell, only one route connects the atrium to the penthouse level, a halfway decent elevator shaft. Here. I want you to block access to it.
Fine. Just cut me loose.
Do you plan on relying solely on your augments for this one? I'd recommend taking a little hardware, just to be sure.
Bit loud. I'll lower it here in OBS. doing better. We got a UC in there. Might be used to maintain his cover. It's not the only one still breathing when this is done. I'm not going to leave my 6 exposed. Give me some lethal. I'm going to go again for a non-lethal playthrough. That worked so well in Deus Ex 1 and 2. But in Deus Ex 0.5, Mankind's Human Revolution, it worked pretty well the second time through on the channel. So, but yeah, I'm going to go non-lethal.
We've got a UC in there. Might be easier to maintain his cover if he's not the only one still breathing when this is done.
Smart thinking.
Yeah, but if anything does happen to him, you'll be telling his wife. After you get out of the hospital, of course.
What about range? There's lots of wide spaces and high ceilings in there, but a number of tight and constrained rooms too.
Oh.
So it's a crapshoot, really.
Stun gun or tranq rifle? Well, I'm not looking to play dice with anyone in there. Give me some with distance. And everyone was to play the odds. Give me something I can use close up. Still loud. But am I louder? About on par. It should be serviceable. It'll probably get quieter once we actually get into it. If not, I can lower it a bit further. I'm gonna go stun gun. It's pretty reliable.
Never was one to play the odds. Give me something I can use up close.
You got it. One last thing, Jensen. Singh said that Jin are using some sort of portable Wi-Fi device to boost communications. He's got a better chance of maintaining cover if you disable it.
I'll keep an eye out for it. But aren't we on the clock here? You said there's a sandstorm moving in.
There is, and we got the intel on this mission at the very last minute. So we're scrambling a little. If it comes to it, your #1 priority is keeping the Jinn out of that atrium.
Copy that.
Time to put away your heavy thoughts, gentlemen. We're approaching the target building.
You're up first, Jensen. Let's do this.
Task Force Actual. This is Knife Leader. Engage Hush drives and descend to Angels 1-5.
So much like the Seraph's plane from the other tank. Awesome.
Team leader, this is Jensen. I'm on the roof.
Solid copy. Move into the building. The access route you need to block is at the far end of the penthouses. And keep in mind, the direct route might not be the easiest one.
Roger that.
McCready will advise once his team is on the ground. Miller out.
Okay, I just ordered a bit more in the OBS. It's down to 0.6. And yeah, that seems serviceable. Okay, the change in the UI here is a little jarring. I was expecting very much Deus Ex 2. Human Revolution 2. Something about the controls flew off. Okay, I'm starting off with some outfits. I got the DLCs. Oh, sorry, get off the mic. I got them as part of the Humble Bundle thing. Biocell. This bioelectric cell made by Voltic is a portable version of the energy storage cells used to power augmentations. They are fully compatible with internal counterparts. They're fully compatible with their internal counterparts and can be used for a quick recharge. Voltic also ensure they'll be compatible with current industrial biocell standards to function with a wide range of powered objects. So we're no longer using food bars. Stingers. Hypostim injector. Typhoon ammo. That we're getting typhoon ammo. Okay, quite nicely. He does start off with everything that every maxed out. Most things from Deus Ex Human Revolution maxed out. Most things, not everything. Like hacking, but he does have maxed out social answer. He also has maxed out these two. The energy converter, the rebreather. That's mostly done. There's a step by step thing? Huh. This wasn't in the first one. So yeah, that's nice. Okay, so basically that was for the multi-takedowns. Code to takedown support. Okay, since we're so augmented, are we gonna lose most of our augments after the first mission? Because there isn't much to upgrade here. You know? I could see us actually losing most of our augments. Okay, there's apparently crafting going on here. Also multi-tools. The P-Jack. Okay, I have downloadable content stuff here, not gonna use it. And here's that special, it can stay. It's a trouble thing. Where did you? No longer used to the first person perspective. Why can't I jump here? Alright, never mind. Random barrier there.
Jensen, we're moving through. Oh, fuck!
What's wrong?
The Jinn have got a few Jennies up and running. Gonna have to hack keypads.
Should enjoy it, McCready. They have colors and shapes. Just remember, red means bad.
Fuck you.
His voice is familiar. His voice is familiar. Oh yeah, I've got the Icarus. Use the Deus Ex Universe phone app to scan this triangle code. Okay, there's one issue with that. It no longer, like, it's been discontinued. So, let me just look this up. Mankind... D-I-V-I-D-E-D triangle codes. Okay, apparently it's all bits of story. Okay, that's rather frustrating. And it's all in like YouTube videos and the like now. Okay, that's pissing me off actually. Because now I can't show it to you. Buggering bastards. Anyway. Loud. Newfangled one. Odd, given how it's from ye olden days, and it still has any degree of power. But anyway, ye olden days as of 2 years ago. I was working on the fan system when we lost power, stuck in here, but I think that means they can't get at me. They're killing everyone. I started screaming and attacking and then moved. Where are you? If you can't make it up a storage area in the roof, it's caged in, you should be safe there. Might even have some medical supplies. Door code is 4801. Be safe, friend. Suddenly Paz starts singing love to Terrence. Just hearing the birds, you know. Not sure if I'm a fan of the new UI, but I feel I'm in no real place to judge. I'm kind of under a constant degree of irritation with how my seat is and the like. I know, it just doesn't feel right to me anymore. I got a new one, and it's just bugging the hell out of me. Probably being a little too cautious. Just I have no idea where the mooks are going to turn up, so... 0451. How of a lot less dramatic than Human Revolutions. They looked a lot more cool. That was a lot more subdued, but probably maybe more realistic. Connor, investors are getting nervous. Some of them have gone seriously consider cutting their losses and pulling out of the project. If it was my money, I would do the same thing. Fairly certain that Desert Jewel is not going to be completed by the delivery date. I don't have to remind you that this will mean the 5th time we missed the date and what it'll mean. Need a way out before the tab here sinks. Need your help, Connor. Can you meet? I'll be in New York on the 10th. Where's Nuri, project manager? Sounds like construction. Okay, 2 mooks in the other room. I feel like none's gonna come with my caution here. No real interest in reading those. Oh, that ain't obnoxious. We'll have to go back up that way. I was just running from in case enemies came. Heated combination. Go down. Enter a classical numerical code in the game's first keypad. 0451. 04. Ah, I looked it up. It was according to apparently unlocked the first door in Deus Ex. Or something? I was certain then, I was like, But yeah, that's cute. I hate to see like the friends list constantly popping up. It's really annoying me. Here, one sec.